Hello everyone, I am Divya Thakur and today we shall discuss the first act of the play titled as Salesman by American playwright Arthur Miller. This play not only addresses the painful conflicts in one family but also tackles large issues regarding American national values. Before starting the first act, I would like to give a brief introduction to the play. Death of a Salesman is a 1949 stage play written by American playwright Arthur Miller. The play premiered on Broadway in February 1949, running for 742 performances. It is a two-act tragedy set in the 1940s New York, told through a montage of memories, dreams and arguments of the protagonist, Willy Loman, a traveling salesman who is disappointed with his life and appears to be slipping into senility. The play contains a variety of themes such as American dream, the anatomy of truth, and betrayal. It explores the psychological chaos of the protagonist and the capitalist society's impact on his life. It won the 1949 Pulitzer Prize for Drama and Tony Award for Best Play. It is considered by some critics to be one of the greatest plays of the 20th century. Since its premiere, the play has been revived on Broadway 4 times, winning 3 Tony Awards for Best Revival. Let's move on to the characters in Act 1. Willy Loman. Willy Loman is an aging salesman. He suffers from depression and anxiety about his failing career. As the play progresses, Willy loses the ability to distinguish between past and present. Linda Loman, Willy's wife. She is his defender and attempts to salvage her family. She defends Willy at all costs, even if it means indulging his fantasies and denying his suicidal thoughts. Beef Loman, the Loman's oldest son. He has been estranged from Willy for 15 years. He represents failed potential and is unable to hold a job. He knows Willy's secret. Happy Loman, Loman's younger son. He is womanizer, driven by sexuality. He exaggerated his authority at his job. Ben Loman, Willy's older brother. He made a fortune in Africa. He appears only in Willy's memories and fantasies. Willy's former lover. She is only in Willy's memories. Bernard. Bernard is Willy's neighbor's son. He is all that Willy wanted Biff to be. Now let's discuss the summary of Act 1. Opening scene to Willy's first daydream. The play begins on a Monday evening at the Loman family home in Brooklyn. After some light changes on the stage and ambient flute music, the first instance of a motive connect to Willy Loman's faint memory of his father, who was once a flute maker and salesman. Willy, a 63 years old traveling salesman, returns home early from a trip. Apparently exhausted, his wife Linda gets out of bed to greet him. She asks if he had an automobile accident, since he once drove off a bridge into a river. Irritated, he replies that nothing happened. Willy explains that he kept falling into a trance while driving. He reveals later that he almost hit a boy. Linda urges him to ask his employer, Howard Wagner, for a non-traveling job in New York City. Willy's 2 adult sons, Biff and Happy, are visiting. Before he left that morning, Willy criticized Biff for working at manual labor on farms and horse ranches in the West. The argument that ensued was left unresolved. Willie says that his 34 years old son is lazy bum. Shortly thereafter he declares that Biff is anything but lazy. Willie's habit of contradicting himself becomes quickly apparent in his conversation with Linda. Willie's loud rambling wakes his sons. They speculate that he had another accident. Linda returns to bed while Willie goes to the kitchen to get something to eat. Happy and Biff reminisce about the good old days when they were young. Although Happy, 32, is younger than Biff, he is more confident and more successful. Biff seems worn, apprehensive and confused. Happy is worried about Willie's habit of talking to himself. Most of the time, Happy observes Willie talks to the absent Biff's unsteadiness. Biff hopped from job to job after high school and is concerned that he has wasted his life. He is disappointed in himself and in the disparity between his life and the notions of value and success with which Willie indoctrinated him as a boy. Happy has a steady job in New York, but the rat race does not satisfy him. He and Biff fantasize briefly about going out west together. However, Happy still longs to become an important executive. He sleeps with girlfriends and fiancées of his superiors and often takes bribes in an attempt to climb the corporate ladder from his position as an assistant to the assistant buyer in a department store. Biff plans to ask Bill Oliver, an old employer, for a loan to buy a ranch. He remembers that Oliver's thought highly of him and offered to help him anytime. He wonders Oliver still if Oliver still thinks that he stole a carton of basketballs while he was working at his store. Happy encourages his brother, commenting that Biff is well liked, a sure predictor of success in the Loman household. The boys are disgusted to hear Willie talking to himself downstairs. They try to go to sleep. Now let's look up on the themes in Act 1. The American Dream. While many critics have presented this as an attack on American values, it is clearly not what Arthur Miller intended. It is an exploration of the betrayal of those values and the cost of this in human terms. Basically, Willie completely internalized the values of his society that he judges himself by standards rooted in social myths rather than human necessity. The American dream that is represented in Death of a Salesman is not intended to mean the downfall of the American dream, but rather an American dream that Willie can't seem to obtain or rather be satisfied with. To Willie, the American dream is the ability to become prosperous by mere charisma. Willie believes that personality, not hard work and innovation, is the key to success. Time and again, he wants to make sure his boys are well liked and popular. Of course, Willie's version of the American dream never pans out for obvious reasons. Theme of nostalgia and regret. Willie seems to constantly have a wistful desire to return in thought or in fact to a former time in his life. He seems to have a sentimental yearning for the happiness of a former place or time, mainly his son Biff's youth. It is important to note that much of the play's action takes place in Willie's home in the past. the Brooklyn neighborhood in which the Lohmans' life was nicely removed from the bustle of New York City. There was space between the neighborhood for expansion and for a garden. When Willie and Linda purchased it, it represented the ultimate expression of Willie's hopes for the future. Now, however, the house is hemmed in by apartment buildings on all sides, and sunlight barely reaches their yard. Their abode has come to represent the reduction of Willie's hopes, even though, ironically, his mortgage payments are almost complete. Just as the house is besieged by apartment buildings, Willie's ego is besieged by doubts and mounting evidence that he will never experience the fame and fortune promised by the American dream. Willie's reality profoundly conflicts with his hopes. Throughout his life, he has constructed elaborate fantasies to deny the mounting evidence of his failure to fulfill his desires and expectations. By the time the play opens, Willie suffers from crippling self-delusion. His consciousness is so fractured that he cannot even maintain a consistent fantasy. In a moment, he calls Biff a lazy bum. In the next, he says that Biff is anything but lazy. His later assessment of the family car is similarly contradictory. One moment he calls it a piece of trash, the next, the finest car ever built. Labeling Biff a lazy bum allows Willie to deflect Linda's criticism of his harangue against Biff's lack of material success, ambition, and focus. Denying Biff's laziness enables Willie to hold on to the hope that Biff will someday, in some capacity, fulfill his expectations of him. Willie changes his interpretations of reality according to his psychological needs at the moment. He is likewise able to reimagine decisive moments in his past in his later daydreams. Ironically, he asks Linda angrily why he is always being contradicted, when it is usually he who contradicts himself from moment to moment. The opening pages of the play introduce the strangely affected and stilted tone of the dialogue, which transcends the 1950s idioms of non-specific pet names and dated metaphors, vocabulary, and slang. Some critics cite the driving, empathetic, repetitive diction and persistent vexed questioning as a particularly Jewish American idiom, but the stylization of the speech serves a much more immediate end than stereotype or bigotry. Miller intended the sing-song melodies of his parallel the often miserable and conflicted characters to parallel the complex struggle of a family with a skewed version of the American dream trying to support itself. The dialogue-crooked, blunt lyricism of stuttering diction occasionally rises even to the level of the grotesque and inarticulate, as do the characters themselves. Miller himself claims in his autobiography that the characters in Death of a Salesman speak in a stylized manner to lift the experience into emergency speech of an unabashedly open kind rather than to proceed by the crabbed dramatic hints and pretext of the natural. Thank you very much. Have a good day.